This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this morning, River State government to demolish shanties along Eastern Bypass in Port Harcourt. APC schedules September 4 for conduct of state congresses. On the foreign scene, U.S. troops to stay until all citizens evacuated from Kabul. In business, President Buhari approves Committee for Implementation of Petroleum Industry Act. I am Ifiemi Andrew. Governor Nyesom Wike has ordered the demolition of all makeshift buildings along the Eastern Bypass Road in Port Harcourt. Governor Wike gave the order while addressing newsmen shortly after inspecting some ongoing projects in Port Harcourt and Obiakwa local government areas. He said the makeshift structures are disrupting the ongoing construction of the dual carriage Ogunabali Eastern Bypass roads, as well as affecting the physical development plan of the state.
I have directed my Chief Security Officer to make sure all those shanties along the Eastern Bypass must be demolished. We have told members of the public that if you want to do business, there is need for you to acquire a place to carry out your business activities, not just to wake up in the morning. You don't know the fiscal development plan of the state. You just go and build all kinds of things along the road. So all those make-up ships along Eastern Bypass will be demolished in the next 1 week.
Governor Nyesom Wike also thanked Rivers people for their patience during the period of road construction in the state.
2 flyovers will be ready by this September, and 2 other roads will be ready by this September. And that, of course, will open up the entire Port Harcourt metropolis. And where people will not be able to have serve the heat of the relief. There's nothing to make a sacrifice for the development of their state. But I thank you, Pastor, for their patience. And at the end of the day, you can now see that all the sacrifices they have made, it didn't go in vain. That the time we told them that it just would finish, we have finished them.
Correspondent Emeka Otuka reports that some of the projects inspected include the Ogunabali Eastern Bypass roads, Ora Bali Flyover, and the Dr. Peter Odili Cancer and Cardiovascular Disease Diagnostic and Treatment Center. Weeks after the protest over the bad state of the LMA axis of the East-West Road was suspended, the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs has begun paying compensation to property owners along that road. Recall that the Niger Delta Affairs Minister, Godswill Akpabio, said an additional 2.5 billion was released for compensation and 2.5 billion for the repair work. When our correspondent visited the area on Wednesday, the tenants of some of the buildings along the road confirmed that their landlords had received the money. Our correspondent also learned that construction work will begin when compensation has been paid and the buildings demolished. One of the coordinators of the protest, Celestine Akbobari, spoke to our correspondent on the pace of work on the Eleme-One Road.
It will take payment of compensation alone for them to start work. It is better they do and do it well than to move their machine on site only for house and property owners to come and stop them or complain that their properties were brought down, they were not paid. It is better that people are paid and so that they will relocate properly. But definitely, there are no hiding place for the company or the government.
The project is expected to be completed in 24 months and will have about 5 bridges. The Nigerian Army's 6th Division, Port Harcourt, will be conducting an annual shooting range exercise at the Elele Barrack today. In a statement, Acting Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Ekocha, said live ammunition will be fired and there would be movement of troops in the environs. The Army advised residents of Elele and the public to keep off the shooting range. He urged the public not to panic on hearing gunshots. An APC chieftain in Rivers State, Lawrence Chukwu, has criticized the call by Governor Nyesom Wike on the PDP to challenge in court the defection of Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi and Cross Rivers Ben Ayade. Dr. Chukwu, in an interview with our correspondent, said the move is to instill fear in politicians who are planning to defect from the PDP ahead of the 2023 elections.
Let the governor of Rivers State tell us what justification the governor of Benue State, Otom, had as at when he defected from APC to PDP. Was there any crisis in APC? But when people defect from PDP to APC, it is not good. That is a tendency of people who thinks of self. When it's in their favor, it is good. When it is not in their favor, they start crying wolf. What the governor of Rivers State is doing is to see if he can elicit fear to other governors, National Assembly members, and notable Nigerians who want to drum their party soon, anyone from now. He's just trying to elicit fear, knowing fully well that many are on the line to jump ship.
Recall that Governor Nyesom Wike had urged the PDP to file a lawsuit against the Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi and Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade for defecting to the APC, as it would strengthen the nation's democracy. The All Progressives Congress has scheduled September 4 for the conduct of its state congresses. The party's National Secretary, Senator John Akpanu-Duede, announced this in a statement on Wednesday. He also said the party will begin sale of forms. Still ahead, Arewa Consultative Forum calls on River State government to carry out adequate sensitization before implementing anti-open grazing law. Stay tuned. Six weeks after a COVID scare led to the closure of the institution, the University of Lagos, UNILAG, is reopening for students to take their second semester exams. In a statement on Wednesday, the school said the exams would hold between August 26 and September 26, 2021. Students will return to the hostels in batches from Thursday, 26th of August 2021 and depart on or before Saturday, 26th September 2021. UNILAG's management also said special arrangements have been made with the Lagos University Teaching Hospital LUTH and Bagada General Hospital to handle any COVID-19 incident that may occur during the period. Arewa Consultative Forum ACF has called on the River State government to create adequate awareness and educate herders on the law prohibiting open rearing and grazing passed by the State House of Assembly yesterday. Chairman of the forum, Usman Ibrahim, told correspondent Martha Okeri that they are not against the bill because they support any process that will bring peace between herders and farmers in the state. He said sensitization should be done before the law is implemented.
We have advised the government of the River State and the people responsible for the committee of the prohibition of open grazing and the rearing of cattle in River State. Therefore, there must be an awareness. After awareness, there must be an education. That is educating the herders. Why we say so? You cannot bring something to be into law just one day, whereby you can stop everything in respect of the prohibition. So we are not disagreeing with the bill, but what we have said, rather let justice be prevailed in the River State. That is our concern.
Recall that the River State House of Assembly passed the River State Prohibition on Open Grazing and Open Rearing Bill into law. In the bill, herders are barred from bearing firearms. The Federal Executive Council on Wednesday approved 2.7 billion naira contracts at the Federal University of Efron in Warri, Delta State for the provision of hostels, administrative blocks, and a new library at the institution. It also approved contracts for an airstrip and other facilities at the Wakal Airport in Yobe State, as well as for the supply and maintenance of 8 units of airport rescue and firefighting trucks across the nation's international airports and sniffer dogs at the airports.
And in our drive to develop the sector and ensure connectivity within our region, and also improve on our security architecture, and also tend to the various needs of civil aviation, we found this airport and many others that are coming across the country useful. Therefore, Federal Executive Council in its wisdom had allowed this to proceed, and many more are coming, and this will generally answer the question as to the growth and development of civil aviation, and also to show our preparedness for emergencies and the military operation and other security agencies. This is similar to the one that is being built in Mongunu and several other sites, like I said earlier.
Council also approved over 187 million naira for the purchase of operational vehicles for the Federal Road Safety Corps to help reduce road crashes in Nigeria. Similar approval was given to the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. Presidential aide Ifiemi Adesina spoke to State House correspondents after the meeting.
Operational vehicles needed by the Federal Road Safety Commission, reducing accidents by 15% and fatalities by 20%. Contract for those vehicles were approved by the Federal Executive Council. The Health Ministry, NAFDAC particularly, also got approval to procure some vehicles. Again, NAITI was given approval to acquire a permanent building to be used as its head office. NAITI had been in a rented place. There was also approval for the NDLEA to procure and install 4 full body dual view scanners with X-ray management software at Lagos, Port Harcourt, Enugu, and Kano airports. The NDLEA has been doing wonderful things in recent times.
In business, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved a committee to immediately start the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act. The steering committee, which has 12 months to carry out its assignment, is headed by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Temipre Silva. President Buhari gave the approval today during a meeting with leaders of the Senate.
The Petroleum Industry Act 2021 creates a regulatory environment that will ensure efficiency and accountability across the oil and gas value chain and reposition NNPC to a commercially driven national petroleum company that is accountable to the Federation. To consolidate the commitment of this administration to delivering the very position of this law, I have approved an implementation framework commencing immediately to ensure the industry embassy in the new law begins to take shape.
Speaking to State House correspondents shortly after the meeting yesterday, Senate President Ahmed Lawan said lawmakers viewed the bill as a very critical legacy document.
When we came in 2019, both chambers identified the passage of the PIB as one very strong and fundamental and critical and strategic bill that we must pass within the life cycle of the 9th National Assembly. And by the grace of God, we redefined the way to go about it, because we would have learned from the mistakes of the past on the issue. And what we emphasized, and that worked for us to achieve what we did, was to ensure that we worked very, very closely with the executive of government.
In entertainment, President Muhammadu Buhari will be in Kano this weekend to attend the wedding ceremony of his only son, Yusuf Buhari, in Bichi. Head of the wedding organizing committee and the Madaki of Bichi, Nura Shehu Ahmed, confirmed this to newsmen in Kano. Yusuf Buhari will on Friday marry Zara Bayero, daughter of the Emir of Bichi, at the Bichi Jumat Mosque in Kano. After the wedding ceremony, the president will attend the coronation of the Emir of Bichi, Alhaji Nasiru Ado Bayero, on Saturday at the Bichi Stadium. In sports, Harry Kane will not play for Tottenham in Thursday's Europa Conference League playoff. The player was not part of the group who flew on Wednesday to Portugal for the game. Kane had been named leg against Pacos de Ferreira. The England striker reportedly wants to live in the 25-man squad for the game against the team who finished 5th in the Portuguese league last season.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
U.S. President Joe Biden has said that U.S. troops will continue to be in Afghanistan until all American citizens have been evacuated. Mr. Biden wants U.S. troops out by the end of this month, but up to 15,000 U.S. citizens are still stranded in the country.
That the Taliban would take over was premised on the notion that somehow the 300,000 troops we had trained and equipped was going to just collapse. They were going to give up. I don't think anybody anticipated that. I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happened.
Around 4,500 U.S. soldiers are in control of the Hamid Karzai airport in Kabul, and Taliban fighters are manning checkpoints around the periphery of the airport. Reports say that the Taliban are keeping desperate evacuees from reaching Kabul's airport. This chaos means that U.S. troops are likely to stay in Afghanistan beyond Mr. Biden's deadline. On the news this morning, you heard that the River State government has given orders to demolish shanties along Eastern Bypass in Port Harcourt. APC has scheduled September 4 for the conduct of its state congresses. The Arewa Consultative Forum is calling on the River State government to carry out adequate sensitization before implementing anti-open rearing and grazing law. On the foreign scene, U.S. President Joe Biden has said that U.S. troops will continue to be in Afghanistan until all American citizens have been evacuated. In business, President Muhammad Buhari has approved the Committee for Implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act. The news was edited by Enoho Ogbevere. Contact our newsroom at 0818-900-0017. For more stories, visit www.nigeriainfo.fm. Cloudy weather expected in Port Harcourt this morning. My name is Ifiemi. Thank you for listening and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye for now.